Hi, Linda here. Quick tutorial today, quick tutorial. Whenever I do a project that involves color blending, without a doubt, someone will ask, did you get a video of the color blending? And I am embarrassed always to say, I did not. But this time I am on the ball. It is not with a furniture piece. It's gonna be with this tray. It's a thrift store find. It is cleaned with white lightning. It is fixed with basically, this is Dixie mud in white. Between you and me, I'm using a product out of my back room, as you're going to see with some of the paints that I chose. So it is not. It is actually the Cottage Paints texture paste, but it's the same as Dixie mud. It's basically like a plaster with binder in it. So I like to use this type of thing, the Dixie mud, for filling holes, for all the gouges or scratches. It's going to stick better than any of your wood fillers. Trust me. All right. So we've cleaned it, we've tacked it, I've fixed up our little whatever damage here, and I'm ready to go. What do you need to do something like this? Well, you need a little something to put your paints in, because even though I'm working with old paints, I don't want to ruin them. I don't want to mix my yellow in the fuchsia or put the fuchsia in the vintage duck egg color, right? You're gonna want to put little samples into a palette. It could be a paper plate, whatever you have lying around will work. Okay, something you don't mind donating. A wet rag. We have a plethora of brushes. I would use the Dixie Belle minis. There currently have been like a hot item, and even retailers can't get them. So I don't really have a lot to pick up for Dixie Belle brushes yet. But again, this is a craft project. I'm not too worried about it. I was more concerned about finding smaller brushes to work on a smaller surface. I have a little bowl of water, because water is your friend whenever you're working with the chalk style mineral paints. Water begets water, oil begets oil. So, or alcohol begets alcohol. So if it's alcohol-based paint, you want to use alcohol as your thinner and your medium. If it's oil, you want to use your oil base, a mineral spirit, something like that, turpentine. But we're using water base, so water is our thinner, it's our corrector, it's our flow. So that. Okay. I want to go through my colors. I have one Dixie Belle color. I'm going to try and do my best to give you the equivalents. So this is equivalent to, you could tell, this is a well-loved paint. This is a brand that we used to carry and is no longer available, so don't even bother asking me the colors. This is similar to, I was gonna say the vintage duck egg, but it actually is not. It is more of an aqua. It's more of the blue than the vintage duck egg. So maybe sea glass? Actually, I was in my head, it was definitely gonna be vintage duck egg, but I don't think so, actually. This is not the one I was thinking of. But I can't tell because the label's kaput. We do have Dixie Belle's Antebellum Blue is like my hot favorite at the moment. I have this fuchsia, which would be similar to like a muscadine wine, maybe toned with some white in it, perhaps. A little toned down muscadine wine. And then this is similar to the Colonel Mustard. All right. Let's try this. I'm pulling it out and we're gonna try it together here. And I might stop when it gets boring, and we'll continue when I have something to say. God knows I have enough to say, right? Let's get going. All right. So here we go in my fancy studio here. And I wanna get everything open. We wanna shake our bottles. This has been shaken. You can shake paint. You don't want to shake your top coat, so clear coats you don't want to shake, okay? So we'll open that. This one might be a problem. I know in the past it's been a problem. You know, it's important whenever you're going to seal up your jars afterwards to keep those threads clean. It wasn't easy, but we got it done. That's a pretty color, and I use it for a lot of different things. I mix it with white, and it makes a really cool pink. And this one is going to be a problem. This one, I'm not even sure if it's good anymore. I'm not hearing anything moving inside. Like I said, we're using up old paints. And maybe it might be a happy day we get to throw this one away. Let's just see. I have to be careful because this is glass. There we go. What that does is it shakes up. It's a little rough in there. Let's see if we put some water in it, if we can't save it a little bit. So let's see. I'm literally going through the motions with you, because any of you who follow me know that I've always got a lot going on at any one time, and in the hot moment here, I knew I had to get video of this, so it's my little ADD gone awry. All right, so basically we're gonna be using this up. It's actually not bad. I didn't actually need to add the water. Oh well, it was just like a little dry on the very top, but that's okay because we're gonna be working with it thin. I'm good, we're all good. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit onto our palette. I can add more, but it'll be hard to clean it up after, right? You can, let's get like a paper towel down here. And, okay. And we're gonna dip into this, it was called Ocean Spray. If it was a large piece, a lot of the times you can just start painting with colors and blend as you get into them. And basically that's what we're doing. And I would just have like a large plate. All right, this one I actually have a little bit of saran on the top, so it was easy to open at the get-go. All right. Have a little bit of the antebellum blue. And if nothing else, this is going to be layer one. If I find that it's going to be too garish for what I was thinking of doing, layer two, we can always add the white to tone everything down. All right, so that's that. Here's our pink. I'm thinking spring and summer. I don't know when you're watching this, but it's February here on Cape Cod, and everyone's all about thinking spring. So, I don't even know how to put it into words. There's a sort of vision in my head. I have ideas that I want it to be a lot, but it's got to make sense, doesn't it? So I want a lot going on, but not so that it just looks like a kid went to town. It's got to have some sort of sense to it. So 3-4 colors I like to do. I mean, if you get a ton more colors, it just gets a lot. You have to really place your colors well, I think. But everyone has their style. And not that I don't love those. But I think this will be busy enough, especially if we do end up adding the white. So we want to make sure we don't have any dust on here. Because if there's anything dirty there, you can't expect the paint to stick. And again, I don't think we need to prime this. I tacked it, it's clean. So we're just gonna dig in. I have some chip brushes if I want. Let me actually get them to be a little more handy. Okay, I have a little basket of chip brushes. And these are, you know, you can get, most Dixie Belle retailers have versions of these. I don't have them yet, again, because, oh, actually I have some, but these are ones that I have and are well used, and I use them over and over again until you can't use them anymore, because that's just who I am, right? So let's start with this ocean spray. And you know what? I'm just going to start in a spot. And this is not going to cover in one coat because it's such bold colors going below. I want to make sure we're keeping this damp so we can blend. All right. I don't think we're going to carry the color blend to the outside, but I don't know. We'll see. That is to be determined. Let's do a totally off color from that. Let's do the pink. I'm using the same brush. Again, it's first coat, and we're going to see what happens. It's a little bit too much water. Let's wipe off our brush. Let's bring in some antebellum. Before everything dries, we want to start giving it some sort of a blend. And I'm just picking a soft bristle brush. I don't want it really wet. And you can kind of cross hatch. All right. Let's do some yellow. Let's get a whole different brush going for the yellow. I'm going to dampen my brush. What is that? Gunk. Okay. Did I not just wipe that down, huh? Go figure. So where this yellow is, I am seeing a third coat. I should not have thinned it down. That's okay. This will still be a video. I'm not going to hide the fact. Things happen. You don't worry about these things, okay? Let's tap into this light aqua color, the ocean spray. See, as you start mixing, as they start going together, you're getting a whole nother color. And you might find you like a lot of that color where they're mixing. What you want to be mindful of is when colors are opposite of the color wheel, you're going to get a lot of blah going on. And what I mean by that is they gray each other out. So you can do green and yellow. You don't want to do green and red. You don't want to use blue and orange. You can do it if they're dry, but as a wet substance, you don't. It's not going to be pretty. Some of this antebellum, and I'm just kind of tapping out extra paint onto the paper towel. Let's tap that in there. Get that in there a little bit. Let's get some of this red in here. Let's use this brush. Again, this is first coat. I might get ideas and I see it all dry and I have time to soak it in a little bit when I'm not trying to stay on some, you know, shorter time frame for video's sake. And then we'll adjust on the next coat. Oop-a-daisy. Cross it, break up your pattern a little bit. You can use the chip brush since I brought it up. I mean, I use that other brush, but just to show you, like, you can tap out. If you have a badger brush, that would be better. I have them, but you don't need them. This is actually a kind of stiff. It's got a little stiff. Just very lightly. I'm not even like, there's no pressure on my hand. I'm just trying to break up some of these lines. And not that it really matters, it's only the first coat. It's just a good habit whenever you're blending to break up the lines. Right? Go at a 45-degree angle a little bit. Yeah, this chip brush it's a tired one, but we'll make it work. Again, it's first coat, so I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. There's that red. Blend it into the antebellum ocean spray color that's going on there. Right? There's really not a lot of rhyme or reason when you're color blending. In a lot of ways, it's a lot easier than, let's put a little yellow in here maybe. I don't like to use a lot of yellow between you and me. I'm not a big fan of the yellows for some reason. But it is spring, and so, you know, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go all in spring. And these could be any colors. Let's see, what color are we gonna put over here? Let's put the ocean spray again. I guess if I was using another color, I might pick something like evergreen. Nice pop of a bright green would be nice. And let's blend this out. Let's get it a little dry. Okay. Blend and blend so we get something we're happy with. I'll bring in more of this one for fuchsia. Put the antebellum in here again. And as these keep blending, you're going to really change these colors. You see that? The antebellum isn't anywhere where it started. Let's bring some of this yellow. I wish I could say this was like rocket science, but to me, this is just very easy. What makes it hard is if you get yourself all worked up about it. I get it. I get anxiety. Sure. But if you just start painting, and you let yourself just go with it, this is just a building block. Next layer might be something totally different. Getting it into this corner is another story. Huh. Get rid of this. Lines happening here. See? And there we go. We got some more of the antebellum back in there. But because this is such a small piece, our little sections are so small. They're so small. Let's tap that out. I should have it, another paper towel. Okay, for tapping out, because now I don't, my rag for you know, maybe wiping mistakes or something is now got paint all over it, doesn't it? Let's break up those lines a little bit. See what's happening? I keep moving this away, don't I? So. Get a red. I'm simplifying, it's not red, but you know. Red and blue and yellow, basically. All right. That dried up in there a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna get in this handle with the color. Again, it's first coat. Let's see what this side looks like. Oh, we got a hot mess going on there. I couldn't even see it from that angle. Oh, wrong brush. Good thing it was dry. Okay, so now that's kind of even. Some more yellow. In this corner a little bit, just a little pop of it. Like, hello, little yellow. Just like spring, just popping in. And get our red to blend. Not that you have to do it this way. It's gonna work. It's very organic, and if you were to try to do it to another piece, it's gonna come out different, especially if you do it on a different day. What I do tonight is my groove tonight. Tomorrow, if I tried to get the same look, it wouldn't happen. So if you're gonna try and do a large piece, I suggest you do your layers in one day, in close proximity of time. So there's that basic rundown, and we'll see you on the next step. So here we go. This is all dry. Truth be told, I found a better yellow that wasn't as watery and it covered better, and all I did was reblend this area and let it dry. And then while I found that color, I found this cool kind of a putty color. All right, these are fusion paints. Again, we're using up paints that I have. This would be, I don't know, maybe similar to Sawmill Gravy. Not quite drop cloth. Drop cloth has more of a cream color to it. I was gonna do drop cloth, and I saw this, and I'm kind of digging this indescript grayish tanny sort of color. There's also this little sort of, this is closer to, well, it's more, actually more creamy. It's more of a yellow than the drop cloth. So we're just gonna, again, we're gonna dampen, and we're just gonna start picking the colors here. Actually just got some of that on this brush. Let's go back over, and I'm not gonna go over necessarily in the same spots, okay? We're gonna go in different areas and see, we got some of that color from the lid of this paint in there. That's okay. Okay, we'll get some of that in there. Let's get maybe some of this yellow that I found. Maybe up in here, in this corner. I'm gonna blend it out. We don't need this to be full coverage. We got colors below, and we can sand it to bring some more of the colors below. Nothing's written in stone here, okay? You see, now we're getting this cool blending happening. You see some of the blue tone coming from behind. I don't mind that it's linear. I just don't want the brush strokes necessarily. And this is just for this project. I might be feeling a whole nother pattern tomorrow. You never know. And that's what's nice, is that this color blending, it's very organic, it's very natural. Work it into some of the fuchsia color. Need some of that blue coming through. Let's do a little bit of a little bit of this blue. And I know I wasn't thinking a lot of colors, but I'm actually thinking I might try and find a green, actually. I'm kind of feeling like it needs another little pop of different color with some of these other colors showing below. What do you think? And it's all organic. It's not anything you can plan. I mean, you can to some degree. You can, if you're doing more ombre finish, you can certainly But sometimes just this blending out dictates where the color goes. Right? So now let's put some of this antebellum in here. Get some more water. That water is just going to help keep everything flowing so we can blend. And it's going to take practice. If you know colors, you'll know, what kind of colors go together. Everyone's got their Pinterest boards. Pay attention to the colors on pieces that you like. What colors did they use? Pay attention to those things. And if it worked for one piece, it can work for your piece. Okay? And even when you know the colors, you liked it in one instance and you can't figure out why you don't like it in your instance, maybe just, move it around. Do the next layer and maybe do less of a certain color and more of another color. They're going on so thin that, again, I'm thinking, maybe in here a little more of the yellow. Maybe in here. Need some more water. Some of this, what is this color I was calling it? This sort of a putty color. Get that in here. Kind of lighten things up a little bit. Maybe try this for softening. Still not the greatest for softening. It's still pretty stiff. If you have a badger brush, I'll try and get one to show you. It would be really good. And again, you don't want any pressure on this part. You're just trying to, literally it's like a feather duster. Okay. Right. See, it's starting to come together now, and I know it's not really translating well into camera, but I am liking this right now. Let's put a dab of this putty color in there. Let's do this in here maybe. Some of the fuchsia over here in this corner now. Some more water. Just want to break it up. Sometimes you can just use the brush to see how that, this I can kind of, got some wispy straight lines there. There we go. Just breaking up, adding this little lighter color in here really helped things. because like I said, I want to do other things, and I want to end it up with a transfer. I think we're going to do some stamping, we're going to do the transfer, we're going to do all kinds of things. And I would like this all to be cohesive when it's all said and done. But, you know, all great plans. I just needed a little something to break up that. All right, I'm digging that. Let's break up these lines that are happening. There we go. This is very cloud-like. I'm digging that a lot. Let's add some more antebellum in here, maybe. We're gonna need some more. And again, you might like it more of the light colors with very little antebellum. It doesn't really matter. You can still see some of the yellow that was below that. I like that the shapes aren't all the same shapes. We broke it up a little bit. Some are long and thin, some are triangular, some are chubbies, some are chubba wubbas. Alright, let's add some of this putty over here, lighten up this corner a little bit. And we're pretty close. We're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna put another layer down. Right? I still haven't decided what I'm going to do to the sides. But that's not the purposes of this video. I think the outsides are going to have a solid color, maybe the antebellum, because I'm totally digging this antebellum blue. Like, I can't even tell you. Where was I before the Dixie Belle antebellum blue? Actually, in the other line, it was all this ocean spray color. I really like that. Let's see. Let's break up that a little bit. And that's it. We're just through this stage. I think, oh, we gotta mix this in better. But I'm gonna fine tune this, blend everything nice and soft, and I think we're gonna be ready for the next stage of this project. Alrighty.